potkal jsem na chodbě Gordona Lainga. Možná ho znáte, dělá recenze právě fototechniky na YouTube a já se vždycky rád podívám, protože všechny ty recenze má úžasně připravené. Vždycky poskytuje spoustu informací, poctivě dělá všechny testy, takže pro mě to bylo jako hezké setkání. Nemám natočené video, to jsem si jako nedovolil, ale přece jenom jako požádal jsem ho, zase můžeme spolu vyfotit. Takže jenom byste věděli, že co se týče té fototechniky, tak i já mám své idoly v zahraničí a on je jedním z nich, právě proto, jak je poctivý. Není to ten youtuber, který hraje nějaké emoce, předstírá, že teď jako dělá všechno cinematicky a tak, a opravdu jako svědomitě každý ten fotoaparát, který testuje, tak se snaží projít všechny ty funkce, asi úžasné. Pokud jako opravdu chci sám si ověřit některé informace, tak chodím přesně na jeho kanál.
What is the main thing you are bringing away from this event?
Well, I think in terms of the R1, a lot of us maybe expected one big new feature, which technologically could be something like a global shutter, and it makes it very easy for us to review something because we then concentrate on the big new feature. That's the big talking point. There doesn't appear to be one big new feature. Instead, there appear to be 100 small features, and maybe they together justify it becoming an R1. But that's for us to test and find out, right? I'm still digesting the information, but I think in terms of the product as a whole, you have to look at so many different things. Mm-hmm. You know, the viewfinder is way better, the autofocusing is better, the prediction is better. There are so many little things there. I think it's easier to review the R5 too, because there's some substantially new things in it. Especially having the viewfinder with the eye detect, I think that works brilliantly for me. How does it work for you?
It worked well, better than before, I must say. Uh-huh. Maybe that is why they used their own eye to train it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Mm-hmm. It looked like eye, but from a Terminator movie, maybe.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And when you said 100 things, that's exactly the number that divides R3 and R1. 100 things are better on R1 than on R3.
It feels like that.
Yeah,
it certainly feels
really,
like that. Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot. Yeah.
So if you shot with R1, do you feel any difference between R3 or maybe R5?
Definitely from R5, yeah. The thing with the R3 is it was already such a capable camera. When I tested it, it was incredibly powerful, and at the time I wondered why they didn't call it the one. And I think many of us assumed it's because they had this big new feature that was coming. Maybe it was delayed, maybe they got there and thought, you know what, it's not quite what we were hoping it would be. I mean, as Sony has proven, they can do a global shutter, but there are compromises. Yeah. Yes, your vertical lines are completely straight, there's no skewing, but you start off at a higher ISO, the dynamic range isn't as good, there's some image quality issues, and then for Canon, image quality is huge. Yeah. They do not want to compromise that. So the question is whether their stack sensor is fast enough to avoid rolling shutter sufficiently while delivering the other benefits. You know, they've got that new low pass filter that's very mild, so you should get really nice sharp images, lots of detail, none of the compromises of global, hopefully, but hopefully fast enough that you don't get the skewing. And in fact, that's what I'm testing right now.
60% fast.
Of course, but what does that even mean? You need to shake the camera around and see what it does. See how much it does this.
Right. That is right.
You know, and that's actually what I'm doing right this minute. Now. So check out my video to find out. But I hope you will do it too. I will check out yours.
Hope so. Probably I will wait for a testing unit. Or final one.
There's so many things to test, and we have it for a very short period of time. So it's about trying to give as good an overview as you can in the time.
And much more things because they released more features from cinema line.
Yeah.
That is also amazing. For me, this event is proving that Canon is changing a little bit. And I'm so happy to have some cinema functions in mirrorless cameras.
And good matching between the products as well. What do you think about the R5 II having not one, not two, but three battery grips?
That's crazy.
Slightly excessive.
That's crazy, but those grips are clever.
Yes.
For
I wish there was just one
Yeah.
that did everything, but
Yeah,
then it would be expensive, and I'm a little frustrated that the cooling fan one doesn't have the portrait controls. That's annoying.
What I'm a bit disappointed, and I'm hoping you are going to test it, and that is 60 frames in 4K. 60 frames in 4K on R5 Mark II, because Mark I, it wasn't very sharp. We had to crop or use like R3s with 6K oversample.
Well, there is still 4K fine on the R5 too.
Yeah,
so that's the oversample
but not
mode.
at 60 frames.
No, same as the.
That is what I was hoping for. That might improve,
Yeah.
because R5C is amazing in 60 frames in 4K. It is still very sharp. I got some info from Canon representatives that it is still not as sharp.
Yeah.
So
How not sharp is the question.
Yes, and
That's what we need to
that is
find out.
I'm so looking forward to your review.
Oh right, well I need to get on with that.
Are you a Canon shooter, or are you making videos on a different brand? You can say your brand.
I honestly use all of the brands.
Yeah.
I've got cameras from all of the brands because they're all good at different things and they all make you feel different things as well, you know, emotionally different, they inspire you in different ways. So depending on what I'm doing, I will use different products. You know, so for a lot of photography, I use Fujifilm cameras. For a lot of video, for my own videos at the moment, I'm filming a lot of them with Panasonic Lumix S5 II. It's really nice. When I want like tremendous autofocus for sports or action, I go for say Canon or Sony. And there's just so many, you know, they're all good at different things, and you know.
Then I would ask differently.
Okay.
If you had to choose, don't worry, one camera from Canon.
Okay. Oh, from Canon.
Yeah.
Okay.
For your content creation.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting question. So I mean, it's very important that it doesn't overheat and that the autofocus is 100%, because I'm a single person creator. There's no one behind the camera. So yeah, I need it to be completely reliable. I'm hoping that the R5 II could be that camera, because if you've got the cooling grip, it shouldn't overheat. Although I don't know whether you'd hear the fan noise, because when you have it set to high, it's quite audible, but there'll be a low setting that's not so loud. I did actually spend quite a lot of time with the R7 recently, and it was nice, especially nice now that Sigma's got the DC-DN lenses for it. R6 II is nice, and R8 is really nice as well, but if you don't need the IBIS, and I know lots of vloggers...
That was my
don't
choice.
want the
That was
IBIS,
my choice.
The R8?
Yeah.
Solid choice.
Because full frame,
Yeah.
no IBIS, which is for filmmakers fine,
Yeah.
but the battery, smaller battery,
Yeah.
right? And it sucks the battery very fast.
Yeah.
But if money wasn't a problem, then you say maybe R5 Mark II.
Yeah, maybe R5 Mark II, especially because it's quite fun to film in high resolutions and punch in. So you know you could do that with 8K, for example. Could give you some extra flexibility. But you know the R6 II did a lot.
Gordon, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be on your channel. Thank you.